Hello, this is Nick from Breaker Press Games, and today we're going to talk about the Stennard Courier Volume 1. Alright, before we get into an overview of the Stennard Courier Volume 1, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe. It matters a ton if you watch the video all the way till the end. YouTube, more than anything, they want your eyeballs, and that benefits the algorithm as well. That being said, if you want to support Breaker Press further, you can pick up our content through the Breaker Press web store, through the Goodman Games web store, through Noble Knight and Exalted Funeral. You can also pick up PDFs through the Goodman Games web store, through DriveThruRPG and itch.io. And yeah, let's actually get to talking about the Stennard Courier Volume 1. So, I've actually been reflecting a lot on this little booklet because I actually use this at my table more than any other book. It gets referenced more than the Dungeon Crawl Classics rules. It gets referenced more than any of my class guides or actual adventures. This is the book that really is kind of the core of everything. And I'm currently, there are plenty of videos about, yes, my open table campaign. You can check those over there. But my open table campaign, and this is technically my fifth campaign that I have set in the town of Stennard, and this is the core of all of it. And so I think it's a really important zine to highlight. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, the zine opens up with a map of the center of the town of Stennard. One of the things that you'll note is that the building numbers are actual page numbers. So, for example, the Old Barn Tavern is 27-30, and that's referencing that those are the pages that you would look at to find out about the Old Barn Tavern. I stole that from a Questing Beast video. If you're not familiar with Questing Beast, I don't know how you found my videos, but Questing Beast is a invaluable asset. Check out one of their videos over here. So, that being said, the zine starts with the map and table of contents, and then it gets into the overview, how to use this zine, judge's introduction, all of that kind of stuff. And in the overview, it breaks down that it is ideally used for 12 to 16 zero-level characters or 4 to 8 first to fourth level characters. It is worth noting that there are actually only a couple of leveled characters that are NPCs in this book. So really, that is an arbitrary number. If the PCs wanted to roll over the town, theoretically they could. There are a lot of NPCs, though, that are referenced in this book that come from various adventures, like the Precipice of Corruption and the upcoming Protectorate of Genulane, that could destroy the PCs. So, keep that in mind. You definitely don't want to encourage the PCs to run roughshod over the town. So, that being said, yeah. The idea behind the Stennard Courier Volume 1 is Stennard is supposed to be a base of operations. It is the town that all of the adventures springboard from. So, what is Stennard? Stennard, first and foremost, is meant to be, and this is in the how to use, Stennard is meant to be a living, breathing town. That was my whole goal in creating this zine, was to create a living, breathing town. It's got its own laws, its own traditions. There are NPCs that can offer jobs, shops that you can buy things at, and of course, a ton of rumors. One of the things that I thought was a really important and kind of fun thing to do, kind of video gamey, because it almost could feel to some like a text tree, but each of the NPCs has usually 5 or 6 rumors or jobs that they can spit out, opinions that they have on the town, or specific people in the town. Some of them The more gossipy characters can have as many as 10 or 12. So, yeah, the whole idea is to have things that you can use. Like, once you get to know the NPCs, you're going to be able to create rumors and things like that, and opinions on the fly. But this gives you something to go on. It's a little more. Yeah, it's a little more prescriptive than just this is what this person's attitude is, but that gives you a bit more guidance and will allow you to go even deeper into the character as time goes on, in my opinion. So, that being said, let's talk about the town itself, because that's the next thing that this zine goes over. We get into, hey, the town of Stennard. So, the town of Stennard is a town that's on the brink of collapse. There's famine, there's corrupt leadership, there's heavy taxation, loss of faith in institutions, and a taint that is infecting new life, especially fauna. So, that means that, like, when you look at Olnik's Mutt Wrangler, who is the dog trainer, he is running into a problem that all of his new births are either of dogs that are either sickly or chaotic, because this taint is infecting everything. And so that really creates this sense of threat. You've got the looming famine, and then this sense that everything is going bad. And that is that grim, dark feel that I'm chasing with the whole Stennard setting. Then we get into, there's actually a cool section. I mean, I think they're all cool sections, but on laws and crimes and punishments. And the reason why there is this cool table is that it breaks down all the different types of major crimes in Stennard, along with punishments that go along with them. This exists to set tone. It's giving guidance for the judge on ramifications for doing various things in the town, because, you know, a lot of times the PCs are going to do whatever they want, and there's whole guidance videos by people like Professor Dungeon Master. Hey, I'll link one of those up here too. Professor Dungeon Master on, you know, the ramifications of the things that can happen when the PCs go bad in town. But yeah, if they get out of hand, you know, things should rain down upon them. And so this gives you a sense of guidance of what they could face. And also it allows you to plant the threat of, you know, one of the things that I like to do is introduce characters that have dealt with, you know, losing a hand because of theft, or losing a tongue because they slandered a noble in the region, or what have you. Yeah, it's a fantastic tone setter, but the table also is numbered so that if you want to, let's say a person rolls up a cut purse and they want to give their character a little bit more depth, you roll on the table and you can find out how many times they've been caught, you know, if they lost a hand or, you know, fingers or a tongue or whatever. So this table gives you some guidance on fun stuff that you can do with that. Or even I have used this table to do like kind of like a Dirty Dozen style campaign where each of the characters was guilty of or accused of some sort of crime. So yeah, it's a fun little thing that can give you a lot of mileage if you wanted to. So then the next thing that it goes into is culture, religion, magic, and the elementalists. Now that's a little bit of forward planting. You might remember that we just did a Kickstarter called Sorceress Rites of the Elements, which is all about the elementalist wizard class, variant wizard class. And yeah, I was planting seeds for this years ago. It was actually an idea that I came up with all the way back when I first came up with the Precipice of Corruption back in 2017, I think is when I wrote the first draft. So yeah, it's something that's been in the cards for a long time. But yeah, you know, the town has its own unique culture, practices, which I'm going to get into one of them in a second. It talks about what religions are practiced, that magic is something that is hated, and to call somebody a witch or a warlock or a sorcerer is the most grievous of insults, and something that could possibly get a character killed. And that is something that, is very important when you're running a game in Stennard to impart on. I've got 2 wizards that are in my regular game, and they keep their abilities kind of under wraps and have to do everything in secret because of the fact that there are grave ramifications for, and I know I've used ramifications a lot in this video, but there are grave ramifications for things that can happen to them if it became obvious that they were a sorcerer of some sort. So the next thing in the zine is the Common Fire. The Common Fire is the kind of like the cultural centerpiece of Stennard. One of the things that all of the people in Stennard it indicates that they do is they each day, if they can make the pilgrimage, go into the center of town and put a log on the Common Fire. It is considered to be terrible luck for the town and for the region if the Common Fire ever goes out. And the whole reason for the famine in Stennard is because of torrential rains. So every time that fire goes out, it is meant to plant the seed that their luck is only getting worse. So yeah, it is a fantastic little centerpiece. Additionally, any type of deal made in front of the Common Fire is considered binding because that is, another one of their little cultural touchstones. That section also includes a random roll chart of people that they could meet in front of the Common Fire. Now, as time has gone on, I actually ran into a situation where some of these characters had been hired off and killed. So I ended up releasing this pamphlet around the Common Fire, which includes an additional dozen NPCs that the PCs can meet, and gives a little bit of an overview for somebody that does not own the Stennard Courier Volume 1. But this is a handy little thing to pick up if you are running a Stennard campaign, because it's going to give you a bunch of hirelings, and it breaks them down into lawful, neutral, and chaotic on the table, so there's 4 of each. Yeah, lots of flavor there. But that being said, let's get back to the thing that we're talking about, which is the Stennard Courier Volume 1. The Common Fire, yeah, it's a place that things happen, and so this introduces a bunch of characters that the PCs can interact with. There's a stray dog. There is the baker's son who talks trash about everyone, and if anybody indicates that they are lawful in any way, he will chastise them endlessly. And of course, yeah, it's a kid, so the PCs, generally speaking, are gonna take it. And then yeah, there's other fun stuff on here, including another roll on here that you can pull from Rabid Dogs or Halo of Flies if you have either of those things. That's another thing, is that all of my content has connectivity, and one of the things that is mentioned in the overview is that change the names of anybody that you don't have the thing for. So if it makes reference to somebody from the Precipice of Corruption or from the Protectorate of Genulane or whatever, you can just make up things for them or just change the name. So that being said, let's talk about community leaders and succession. So this was a fun little section to write, and it was something that came about because of the fact that in one of my campaigns, the PCs, they felt that the Constable Clarissa Hems was the source of a lot of the town's problems, and so they shanked her. It was kind of an accident. They were just trying to spy on her, but things happened. You know how your player characters can be, and so I was like, okay, in the event that something like this happens, what's going to happen? Who's going to fill the vacuum if the constable is killed? And so it was a really fun section to write. It does introduce characters. It does make reference to characters from content that has not been released. In fact, a bunch of the people that are mentioned are going to be in the Stennard Courier Volume 2 and Volume 3. So that's something to look forward to. I made the announcement that Stennard Courier Volume 2 is going to come later this year. So be warned. That stuff is coming. So, and then the next thing that it gets into, and this is the bulk of the zine, is the NPCs. Now, let's talk about the NPCs for a second. There are 10 major NPCs, 5 minor NPCs. So the 10 major NPCs, each of them gets a 2-page spread. The 5 minor NPCs, those are characters that are mentioned in Around the Common Fire. And then there are 20 tertiary NPCs. What do I mean by a tertiary NPC? So each of these NPCs has, at the bottom over here, has family members that are listed. And so each of them at least has an age and a trait. A name, an age, and a trait. And so, for example, Anise Mutt Wrangler is one of his daughters, age 15, and is adventurous. In fact, she is the focus of Tragedy at Woodwitch Rise. So, yeah, once again, me planting seeds and connectivity between all of my stuff. But, that being said, let's talk about what these 2-page spreads bring. So, first and foremost, it gives personality, motivations, friendships, enmities, possessions, family members, as I just mentioned, and then rumors. Each of the characters, as I mentioned before, has anywhere between 5 and 12 rumors. So I remember saying the total count of rumors, but I know it is well over 30. There is a ton of rumors in here. Additionally, anybody that has something for sale, and most of these characters have something for sale, that stuff is broken down as well. So the Mutt Wrangler house, you can try and purchase a trained dog, or you can, and that's a great way to get a canine in your party. Arana Bread Baker, she's got the baked goods. You've got herbs, oils, drinks, food specials. One of people's favorite things to do in my campaigns is go to the Old Barn Tavern and find out what the special is. Yeah, what am I missing here? Oh, the smithy, trade goods, and then behind the counter at Ilian's Trading. So one of the areas that only the savviest players have come to figure out, it is referenced that Ilian Wares Trader is the guy that can get you what you want. And there is a whole section of things that are things that you might want. But a lot of players, they're just so lawful. And so they don't necessarily dive into that. One thing that should be noted about the 10 major characters is that how I tend to balance things. 3 of them are lawful characters, 3 of them are neutral characters, and 3 of them are chaotic characters. And the constable, and this is a thing, if one of your players is watching this, the constable is a random roll, and so the tone of the town is going to be affected by what you roll for the constable. Because she is essentially the mayor of the town, you roll on this random roll table, and she could be lawful, neutral, or chaotic, and that sets the tone for the town. And that doesn't change how people see her necessarily. There are certain people that hate her no matter what she does, and there are certain people that love her no matter what she does. But vibes. It's all about vibes. And so that is an overview of the Stennard Courier Volume 1. I think that this is a fantastic book. If I want to pat myself on the back, it gives so much in so little space. This zine is 40 pages, and it is just packed with content that you can use at the table. So yeah, I highly recommend picking this up. It is a DCC compatible product, but it should be noted that because most of these characters are zero level characters, and even the leveled characters, there is just, you know, cursory information for those leveled characters. This can be used with old school essentials, with Shadow Dark, with Knave, whatever you want. It is a really just a great grimdark little town that is just full of life and story. So, that being said, that is the Stennard Courier Volume 1. Thank you for watching my kind of lengthy overview of this zine. Go to any of the aforementioned places to pick it up. And if you like the Stennard Courier Volume 1 and you are a DCC player, available for pay what you want is the Stennard Character Creation Guide. You can go to DriveThruRPG and pay what you want, or you can go to any of the aforementioned places and buy a physical copy for $5. But this is character creation themed to the beleaguered town of Stennard. So, that being said, this is Nick from Breaker Press Games. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and thank you for making it all the way to the end. Thank you for supporting indie games and indie game designers. This is Nick from Breaker Press Games, signing off.